Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, to me, anyone who's seen this before, anyone who's just stopping by, or just for myself. This is here if you need it. I get my stitches out today, which is nice. That'll feel good. I'm coming to terms with the fact that I don't live a linear life. I think the conventional wisdom of incremental progress and stacking days is, I completely see it. I see how it works for so many people, but I've always had this friction in my life because it couldn't ever seem to fight the cycles life threw at me. It would be these bursts of enthusiasm, focus, clarity, excitement, movement, followed by what just felt like all-out crashes, whether by my own hand or by life circumstance or, anything in between. And I'm starting to realize that the only real times I get in trouble with myself is when I fight against the tide, when I fight against the current of life. We give the build-up too much credit. We give the rise too much love. We don't honor the breaking down. We don't honor the shedding phase of life nearly enough. What I've always learned is I'm somebody who, it's like enthusiasm, build, growth, then I get to this point, something happens, I happen, whatever, then we dip back down, and we never go back to where we started, but we get here, and then it starts again, and then, you know what I'm saying? And when you're in it, you could feel very discouraged, because you just feel like, damn, why can't I get right? Why can't I just hold on to something? Not really seeing that if you zoom out, the trajectory is still upward. And I think that's why I like making these so much, is because I could literally go back and watch and see my mind change, see my mindset, see the flip, and see it oscillate over and over and over again. Which is why I consider anybody to make these. I think these are helpful tools to share with anyone watching, or even just for yourself. But I think the main thing I want to talk about today is just the friction. Dealing with the friction. Dealing with that grinding up against life. And how for me I think it happens when I don't honor the shedding, when I don't honor the breaking down as a natural occurring part of my metamorphosis, In some ways, I feel like I might be here to, I don't necessarily know about teach, but at least mirror what a non-linear life looks like. I know I'm not alone in feeling this way, and I know I'm not alone in the fact that there are people who may not necessarily feel like the traditional stacking of days and momentum and progress makes sense for them. And so I think right now, as I begin to to leave the shedding phase yet again for the next expansion and the next growth cycle in life, I think for me it's going to be about kind of building in and understanding that that too will then crumble, and to not run from it and to not be afraid of it, and understand that it is just like the tide coming in and out. That feels like a new revelation for me, where in all of my life it felt like a beautiful rise and a beautiful enveloping and becoming, followed by a painful crash that then, you know, turns into something else down the road. But I'm wondering if maybe if I know that's coming, because it always has, how would I interact with it, and how much grace would I give myself within that process, you know? I think progress can also be the awareness of friction, the awareness of the undoing. I don't know who I would be if I was somebody who I could go on a 7-day water fast and then it all just clicks and then I just sail off into the sunset and use that and just become who I am. Because as amazing as that feeling is, and the clarity, and I feel so much closer to God in those moments than I do right now, and I can't lie about that. But would that cap my evolution? Is there a higher high? Is there a bigger expansion for me on the other side of accepting all of these burnouts? And I think that acceptance is a true lesson for me. I've made videos about this before, but it's like, we don't have to beat ourselves up. But it's all in the framing of what this means. I'm starting to see people come in and watch these, and that's really pretty fucking cool. Thank you. I just saw that we have over 100 subscribers on this, and I'm not gonna lie, I thought 5 people may be interested in this, but it's pretty sweet. So whatever that looks like for you, whatever that feels like for you, that friction, that bottoming out, giving yourself that grace and understanding that it is all just the tide of life. I'm interested to see what that perspective does for me. And as always, this is here if you need it.